Hello everyone, we're here at last. It's 12 minutes past 7, we're a few minutes late and we've had some technical issues, but we're here. Hi everyone, I'm Jason. Welcome to this, the third installation of the W3 Wisdom Show, where we're speaking with amazing people with amazing experience who's going to be sharing their knowledge and wisdom with us about the W3, the web. I'm going to be speaking this evening with an old industry colleague from the iGaming industry, a guy by the name of Gary Beal. Gary lives over in Malta, very sunny, lucky man, and he's joining us thankfully from all over there. So Gary, say hello to everyone.
Hi everyone.
Gary, tell us a bit about yourself. What have you been doing? What's your experience? What do you focus on? Just let's have a chat and tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, Jason and I go back, I think, probably 10, 12 years. We met each other at some gaming conferences or SEO conferences, or maybe even affiliate conferences. They all got mixed together after a while. For the past, I did started out as a super affiliate in the U.S., went to the U.K. when it became illegal. Got into
illegal. It never became illegal, Gary.
Yeah.
iGaming never became illegal. If you remember that.
Well, the processors got nailed by the FBI, and it basically kind of screwed up everything that we had set in place.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, in a bit, once we've gone through the intro, we'll chat about the legalities in the US, but I apologise for butting in. It's very rude of me. So please tell me, carry on about giving me a potted history of Gary Beal.
Okay. Well, then I went to the UK and ran Sticky Eyes. Then I ran Blue Claw. Then I opened up Vanguard. I did that for about 6 years. Moved to Malta and retired. Just kept a few clients. And really, for the past 6 years, I've been retired up until about maybe 5-6 months ago.
You're a lucky man to have retired, Gary, especially in the sun of the Mediterranean. I'm a long, long way from retirement, financially, emotionally, and always. So if you did retire, I'd doff my proverbial and probably black hat to you. But you're working again within the SEO and gaming business, is that right?
Yeah, we launched some software that does reputation management, and then because of the response that we had at a couple of conferences that we did, like Amsterdam here recently, there's still a big need for SEO for people who know what they're doing and have a good reputation, I guess. And we just rolled right back into the industry, and we're going full blast.
Okay, so let me ask you about that, Gary, because I was at that Amsterdam conference. Of those that are listening in, it was the iGaming Business Super Show in Amsterdam. I was chairing and moderating the conference sessions until we were just speaking 10 minutes ago. I didn't even know you were there, Gary, because I was tucked away in the room with a microphone and walking around and doing stuff like that. So you say that it's a reputation management software. Tell me about it.
Well, we've, over the years, between SEO and reputation management and brand protection, it all kind of is fitting under the SEO umbrella these days, especially when you're dealing with Fortune 500 companies. So we had an issue with most of the software like Brand24, Repumatic, Mention, Hootsuite, that nobody really did everything and nobody really crawled deep enough because, if pages aren't indexed in Google because they were penalized and somebody's using that as negative SEO for one of my clients, we weren't able to see that. So we went in and just created something we were going to use in-house. We've done it for the past couple of years and we just went public with it. And it's free for everyone. We don't charge anybody. It basically scours the web and it goes 2 or 3 tiers deep. It gets in past forum walls and firewalls and all that.
Okay, so Gary, I'm going to dive in, because I've not seen the software, I've not heard of it before, we're just speaking about it just now. So where can people find this? Thank you for making it free, by the way. Where can they find this software?
It's webgenius.tech.
webgenius.tech. Well, I'm going to bookmark that. I'm going to have a look afterwards at it. So I'm going to summarize what you just said, and I'm playing it back to make sure I understood it correctly, and hopefully our audience and our viewers have as well. It's a software that tries to find every mention of a brand or a term or whatever it is that you search for online, so you can see if it's positive or negative. Am I right or wrong in saying that?
Yes, it does two things that are fairly unique that are pretty cool too. You know, it'll take somebody who we flag as maybe they have a negative comment somewhere, and typically what we find is that they don't just post at one place; they post at multiple places. So we'll go in and just do a general search of their screen name and see if we can't come up with something that crosses over to other social medias, and we find that happening all the time. Then the other thing that we do is we monitor every bit of traffic that comes into a site, whether it comes in on a brand name or not, because a lot of times someone won't put your URL, or they may misspell, or they may have some other type of reference and send that negative traffic to your site. So, or send these comments. So we want to identify these so we can get rid of them. So we track any traffic coming to the site by keyword rather than just for like a brand mention or a...
Okay, and that does that how? You work with the log files, or as a JavaScript include, or Google Analytics? How do you realize what the traffic is that's coming into a site?
Well, there's the easiest one that we use is HitTail, because we can take HitTail and we can export the raw data.
So that's not part of the software package. That's a separate thing that you do with clients for reputation issues.
No, it's actually the backbone of the software. We're running about 7 APIs, plus we're running this on the client site, and we're running everything together.
Okay, and who are you working with using this? I appreciate you maybe in that it's that awkward position. No one wants to own up to having a reputational problem, so it may be the wrong question to ask. But go on, tell me.
I can tell you that we're dealing with a top 10 gaming company, a top 3 global dating company, and a top insurance company out in the Middle East.
Okay,
and the biggest casino in China as well. So those are our 4 main clients for reputation management. We've got SEO and social media, but
congratulations, Gary. That's great to hear. Great to hear. And this service and software is available for free. Just give that plug of your URL again.
It's webgenius.tech.
Excellent. Now, moving on from that, that's clearly your bread and butter, I guess, nowadays. With clients like that, it's a great problem to have for your business. But
never goes away. Only thing worse than it never goes away, because the only thing worse than, because we deal a lot in dating, as I mentioned, but the only thing worse than a broken wallet is a broken heart. And these people, when you make an enemy, just like gaming, they never seem to go away. So yeah, it's a big deal.
I've worked a lot in the reputational space as well, and I understand the issues, but clearly we don't know everyone who's listening, which is why giving some background as to what this problem can solve, or to help to solve, is a good thing. So, Gary,
some really good stats, not to cut you off, Jason, but just to throw it out there real quick. In reputation management, there were some Harvard studies done that showed that one negative result for your, say, brand loses you 10% revenue right off the top, and it loses 22% of your sales, just having that one negative, because, people are tire kicking. So that's a good stat for you. That's why these guys are looking at how much they're spending on CRM, client retention, and how they're spending on legal fees or payoffs, and, it makes sense to them.
No, it makes perfect sense to me as well. Now, let me ask you, outside of the reputational management, the generic SEO that you're doing for these guys and etc., what are your roots, Gary? I know that you said that you were a super affiliate. I personally can't stand that term, but put that aside, you were clearly working as an affiliate. Tell me about those early days.
Oh boy, that's when you could slam anything up on Google and dominate the results. It was only, we were using Yahoo and Best of the Web, all the web. Google wasn't around. We were still using IRCs. My computer days go back to the TRS-80 Radio Shack and Commodore 64, building ping pong games. And then, obviously over the next 10 years is when Yahoo came about and the internet came about, and I just got dropped into it luckily, because I had a lot of traffic on a particular site I had at the time, and somebody just approached me, and yeah, we don't I don't do affiliate stuff anymore, but that was the origination of my how I got on the internet, how I got into the situation.
So back in the day, and when we're talking now, we're talking late 80s or late 90s rather.
Yeah, it's late '90s.
So in the late 90s, you were doing iGaming affiliate stuff. You were approached by an operator, and you thought, "Hey, there's money for the traffic I've already got." Is that right, or was it different back then?
Yeah, well, it was poker, and I'm not a gambler, and I'm definitely not a poker player, but somebody somewhere just happened to come across the forum, and one thing led to another. They made an offer, and I said, "Well, hell, why not put a banner or two up here?" And
Sure.
then I started to learn the industry, and there's a ton of money in it if you have the traffic. And even today, I know all the all the super affiliates out there. They're making six figures and up. Just off the traffic they get to their site, whether it be Casino Meister getting it for Guard Dog, affiliate Guard Dog, GPWA. Any of these guys are all really operating as an affiliate in some sense of the word. There's just a big industry for it.
So on the affiliate side, do you think there's still space for someone to start and to dominate in that area? Or do you think those days have gone in Google?
I think they're there. I said, I think 7 or 8 years ago, one of the last conferences I was at, the session was, what's the next big thing? That's what my title was. And the three things I came up with, were, of course, bingo, Forex binary options, and those are really the main two, I guess, rather than to get off on a tangent. Forex and binary options I was pushing really hard because, that's basically blackjack. It's red or black. It's high or low. And in that particular industry, in the Saudi Arabia, in that area, I had a lot of people approaching me at conferences because depending on the cran or the cleric or the one that you follow, it can be accepted or not accepted. Well, if it is accepted, then that's their form of gambling, which they can't do. So it was really big, and it was huge. In bingo, even in lottery, is something else that was really big and is still big.
Well, I don't think any of the size of the marketplaces has shrunk. It's increased individually and collectively throughout the world. But you've been in gambling, you said, since the late 90s there, and we're 16 years into the new century. We're past the halfway point of this decade. We've got 4 years to go till 2020. What's going to happen in your view? If you were starting out now, what would you plan to be that dominant guy at the end of the decade?
Well, I'm a believer in sticking with what you know. So if you know poker, go poker. If you know bingo, go bingo. If you don't gamble and you're just getting into the industry, I think the best thing to do is to attach yourself to somebody who is successful, become a affiliate for a super affiliate, and let them teach you. I don't ever think the space is ever taken because it's like, them saying SEO was done 10 years ago. It'll never be done. Affiliate will never be done, whether it's gaming or doesn't matter what it is. I tell the Fortune 500 companies and all these guys I speak with and my clients that you have to deal with affiliates. They're always going to generate 40% of your business. So I think there's always going to be a space out there if it's done in the right way. And I think social media is going to be the backbone versus SEO. And, SEO used to be, SEO and PPC basically were the two tools that were best used. These days, I think it's absolutely social media and making a huge footprint and doing all social media, not just Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or, you're talking Pinterest, Instagram, build up a huge community.
Let me dive in there a bit then.
Sure.
First off, let me say I'm not sure I agree with you, but let's be honest, that's not the first time we've had difference of opinion. Gary and I have been on panels in the past, and we've had disagreements and difference of opinions on strategy and routes to go. That's happened more than once, and that's fine. We're all allowed difference of opinions. Just because I'm always right doesn't mean anything.
Just because you're British, I won't hold it against you.
I'm sorry?
Just because you're British, I won't hold it against you.
Just remember, Gary, you're here at the behest of that Schengen visa. And Malta is effectively Britain in the sun. So there's a reason that you're no longer in the US. And there's a reason you're based over in Euroland. And there's a reason that you're here. So with the greatest of respect... Anyway, look. Joking
I don't know
aside,
if they let me back in the UK anyhow.
sorry, mate.
I don't know if they let me back in the UK anyhow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd let you back in either, to be fair. But no. Joking aside,
I'll be up there in September.
I
So
look forward to seeing you and making sure immigration comes to say hello. Now, joke. Put the jokes aside for a moment. Now, let's be serious. You were specifically saying that social media, all of the social media channels, whether it be the big guys, the behemoth, the Facebook, the Twitter, you mentioned YouTube as well as the smaller, newer entrants, but still substantial, whether it be Pinterest and so on and so forth. You believe that a fully embracing strategy, incorporating all of those, is a way to dominate if you're a new entrant nowadays, whether that be a new entrant as a merchant, as an operator, or as an affiliate. And it's great phrases to say, but let me get down to the brass tacks. What the fuck does that mean? How do you do it? We know that we should be doing it, but as a startup, as someone that doesn't know, we don't know those mega affiliates to sign up as an affiliate under them and to learn from them. We don't know what needs to be done. Give some advice rather than saying social media is great. What the hell should be done on social media to deliver that greatness and therefore the traffic which you believe will come from that?
well, okay, I'll give you a tip that I don't know anybody who knows it because we just figured it out ourselves. Obviously, dating in casino and even Forex in the U.S., you can't push on Facebook. You know, they just won't allow you to. There are certain white label dating sites that are spending a huge amount of money and that are approved, but that's a very small portion, just like your slots. You're going to see some out there that can't advertise, but it's all hit or miss. And as an affiliate, you have no power, so you can forget ever being in that club. So what we have done, we have networks of hundreds, if not thousands, of Facebook accounts. Okay. And part of what we do is we will cross-link them. We'll push a post on one page and we'll boost it with another. That can get you past most of Google's advertising policies and restrictions. And we've spent some major money in test campaigns showing, especially dating, because they're Zuckerberg. I mean, that fucker, he hates dating. He got screwed over, whatever his problem is, but he hates dating sites. So they're his primary target. And we were able to go through and spend 15, 30, 50,000 before this particular client bought something else, and for whatever reason they wanted to hold back and not burn any bridges with Facebook because they thought they'd get this new site approved. But anyhow, what you're doing is you're pushing, whether it be an article or whether it be a promo or a contest or sign up or whatever it may be, whatever call to action on one particular site. You're sharing it with your group, or you're posting it in the group that you have another account that's in that group, and you can boost that post. So you can go and you can spend 5, 10, 20, whatever to boost that post, where you couldn't go in there and boost your own. They won't let you.
Right, so let me just backtrack because it was a bit disjointed there. I just want to make sure I understand correctly. You have thousands of Facebook accounts, and so clearly we're talking about Facebook here. Thousands of Facebook accounts. If you post in a group, you can then take another one of those accounts and boost somebody else's post. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that, so that is new to me. But I'm of the view that why not boost your own post? Boost being an advertising Facebook terminology they use when you're not using the Facebook Ads Manager directly. It's slightly more expensive, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's down to what reviewer looks at your site if you try to boost your own post, because we've had them approved and we've had them the exact same one turned down before on the exact same account. So when you get one that is approved, we slowly trickle a bigger and bigger budget at it.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I get this completely right, because it doesn't sound right, and I mean that with all due respect, Gary. But random person A can post in a group, and I, as random person B, can go in and spend advertising dollars to boost that post even further. Is that effectively what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, then great. Look, once we finished, I'm going to be going and I'm going to be checking. I'm going to be seeing if I can do that. The truth is, I've never looked. So if you have, I'd doff my hat to you. Again, black as always.
Truth is, I didn't even find it out. My girlfriend Matea, and she just I just got her into social media a couple of years ago. She's the one that found out how to do it.
Well done, Mattia.
Credit
You
where
know,
credit is due.
if it works, what I don't understand is the benefits of doing it from that third person. Because if an advertising is going to be accepted, it's either accepted directly or not. So if by doing it indirectly, what's the benefit of doing it via that third person?
Well, because the PPC side of Facebook is totally different from the boosting side of Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so so the specifics are, if you can't get a normal ad okayed, you will always get a boost okayed. Is that correct?
Not always. About 90% of the time, we're finding that they're going through fine. If we spend too much and it raises a flag that we haven't figured out exactly what it is yet, then you have no problem with it, and you can go on and on.
Okay, well, look, Gary, if it's true, and I believe you, I believe you're being completely honest with me here. But of course, you know, I believe it here in my heart. Once I check for myself.
We want to see it. I don't listen to bullshit online either. I don't believe a thing I read or hear. I test it.
Well, look, testing's a wise thing to do, and I'm going to be doing that once we finish the call. Now, that's a great technique. As I say, I'm unsure of some of the specifics there, mostly about the benefits of why not boost your own post rather than
all views. It's all views, and views lead to conversion.
No, but I get that. But if I've written the post, why get that third party to try and boost the post rather than what's the benefit of doing it that way?
Because you're not allowed to boost your own, and if it's for advertising.
Okay, and that's a good reason. If you can't do it otherwise and you can this way, then that's a great thing.
Look, you can boost somebody else's because now you're a third party.
Well, that sounds great. If we can do it, and as I say, I'll be looking when we get back. Now, that if it's real, and I'm sure it is, Gary, because I've always known you to be an honest, upstanding member of this sort of online marketing community. So I'm positive that there's going to be people going out there now as they're listening, looking to try and boost other people's posts and thinking of strategic and amazing ways to use that. So with that tip, we're going to pause for an ad break. I'm going to be pimping my product, TDN, the domain name. Gary, stay there. The audio's going to cut for you, but we'll be back in a few minutes. This is Fred. He's a busy SEO. But Fred hates link building. And outsourcing it is too expensive, low quality and time consuming. Fred needs an answer, a scalable link solution. The domain name has just the thing. Fred wants powerful domains, scalability, great prices, speed of action and huge data. Whether 10, 1,000 or 1 million sites, you choose your domains. Add them, and then in 24 hours or less, your network is complete. It's that simple. Exclude the bad words, include the good, and just search. Then click. Through an easy interface that's quick to use, with vast data. It's a network in a flash. It's the fastest link building program available. It's truly international and the final cog in your SEO machine. Saving you money, building your profit, and launching your business to the moon. It's a thumbs up from Fred. Come sign up now with a special offer with a free trial. And we're back. Thanks for bearing with us while we had the advert there from TDN. That's the.domain.name, the.domain.name. I highly suggest you go there because they help sponsor this show and it helps feed my kids when they're hungry. And right, spam out the way. Gary, that was an amazing technique and a tip that you gave us just before we cut to the ads. we've got Facebook covered now. If we can add, just with a sprinkling of accounts, one can post and another account can come in and boost that and expand that with Facebook self-learning algos for the views and the traffic that comes from that. It will be a moneymaker, I'm sure of that. Now, what do we do on the other social networks?
Well, let me jump back on Facebook real quick.
Okay.
And I'm sure this is something that everybody may know, but they may not see the opportunity. But people always add me to groups on a regular basis. I spend every day leading 3 or 4 groups, but you can add whoever you want to them. So that's another idea. If you don't know about it, is you can add anybody that you want to a particular group. So you can go out and search your demographic or search for somebody in a particular similar group, and you can add them to your group. And there's ways to market that as well. So that's something to keep in mind with Facebook.
So let me just make sure that I understand you correctly. I think I do, because I know that part very well. You can create a group related to your topic. Let's call it casinos. Anyone that's in another casino group, you could go through one by one or via automated means, collect them all, throw them into your group because you're adding them in there, and they'll immediately be a member of that group and therefore see the copy and the posts that you've created within there, giving you that coverage that you wouldn't otherwise have got. You're being proactive in finding those people, grabbing them and pulling them in. Is that right, Gary?
Yeah, it's right. There is a bit of risk involved in that they can go in and report, that you can block them. You can block them from adding you to the group. They can block you, in other words. Sure. They can even report you. So you need to be careful with it. I would make sure that you don't ever hit anybody twice or add them to your group twice and give them a reason.
And what returns have you seen on that, Gary? For the work, how much work does it take to do effectively, and what are the financial returns that you see when that's done?
Well, we've got a social media team, so we've got a half dozen people at least doing that one task on a daily basis, and they'll add, I think, 10 to 20 people, depending on the sector. And I'm not sure I don't know what the churn rate would be on that, but I know in terms of how it pays off. Again, it's tough to give exact figures because we do so many different methods and so many different techniques. And
okay, so if it's tough, let me stop you for a moment. If it's tough to get exact figures because of all the different routes that you go down, what sort of return do you get in aggregate from all of the different methods together? Because that's a good gauge for a style of returns. That if someone to work with you say you had a team of 6 there just doing social media profile adding. I didn't realise that, Gary. Vanguard. You are still Vanguard? Is that correct to name the SEO company?
Yes.
Okay. So Vanguard's much bigger than I thought. Is everyone based in Malta?
Yeah. And we also have reviewpool.co.uk, which manipulates review sites. We've got Ironstone Consultants, which is more nefarious situations where we have.
So Gary,
it's multiple companies.
Gary, so let me stop you just a moment. There's Vanguard, there's Ironguard, there's WebTech, whatever it was called, I can't remember, and various others. Half a dozen people here and there. Let's just get a bit of a summary of your organisation, because I thought it was just you, and clearly I'm wrong. Right, okay. So you're based in Malta. Your whole team are based there with you?
No, it's just me, or just myself and social media director, which is Matea, my girlfriend of a couple of years now.
Right.
I've got 6 guys, my IT and dev guys. I've got 6 guys in England, in Leeds, in that area.
Okay.
They all are outsourced. I've got a call center, and I've got a team of 20 content writers in the Philippines, but then I also have 6 or 8 here that do professional level writing, ebooks, and press releases, and that's just the content team. Social media team, I'd say we probably have 20 to 30, 15 are staff, 15 are outsourced, and then we have the social media team inside several clients that we also run for them.
Gary, what can I say? Let me stop you just for a moment. You've gone from retired to a team of 100 people like that. I didn't even know you retired, let alone you've grown.
When I say retired is, I kept 3 key clients that I had for a long time that they were very happy. I kept maybe a dozen top-notch people that I've had. It's taken years to find, to secure, and profit sharing to keep them, and that sort of thing. And then they had their own teams of people. So basically, what I did was I just pulled them in as staff whoever wanted to be staff, and the teams were already in place. It was just me flipping the switch and saying, all right, let's go with it.
Well, Gary, like I say, you've grown from a startup effectively to 100 odd people. Again, well done. I wouldn't like your wage bill, but I do respect you for what you've grown.
I don't like.
Yeah, well, look, you're getting the returns. Otherwise, if you don't, then look, a few things must be happening. The clients must be getting results. Otherwise, I won't keep paying you. Two,
Yeah.
if the clients are paying you, your business is at least basically structured correctly, you're going to be earning more than you're paying out. And if the staff stay with you, and you've got 100 of them, or thereabouts, you must be paying quite well as well. So maybe if there's any great talent in Malta, then go and look Gary up, because it looks like he's growing, and also pays well. So again, Gary, well done to you, mate.
Thanks.
Look, let's go back to the old days of gaming. We spoke just before at the beginning of the call where you said that online gambling is what I really mean, became illegal in the US. The unfortunate day, and the acronym that was banned was the UIGEA, the Unlawful Gaming Enforcement Act in 2006. It was a late Friday night stateside. It was early Saturday morning, so I remember getting a phone call when it happened. And it was a small piece of legislation that was tacked onto the last hearing in Congress, I think, on a late Friday night before they closed for autumn. And the piece of legislation it was tacked onto is called the Safe Ports Act, which was all about having the right to look into container ships and make sure they're secure and there's no bombs inside. So Safe Ports Act was always going to go through. But UEGA was specifically a very weird piece of legislation. Many still believe it was illegal and it was wrong to do, but it was clever in so much as it didn't legislate to say whether online gambling was illegal. It specifically said that any money that moved around from gaming online that was illegal but didn't define any further than historic legislation, that the banks would then be liable for that money. And that was when the big corporations, specifically Party, 888, who were the monsters of the time in the space, in poker especially, said, whoa, we're not sure what we've got to do here. So you were involved in the industry back then, so was I, and I remember the phone calls, as I say, that we got in the early hours of Saturday morning UK time as that legislation was being passed. What are your memories of that time, Gary?
Well, then I jumped the gun and moved to the UK, which ended up in the long run being a fantastic move. But I know I overreacted, and then I'm sitting in England, and every client that I had, their primary target was the US. And that was during the party poker days when, actually it was Bodog, it was Bodog days when they were the first one hit and the FBI seized their site. And
well, that was both. But Bodog's as an organisation, for those that don't know, Bodog's a brand related to a very wealthy and well-connected gentleman known as Calvin Ayre. It's not his at the moment. The legalities around it I'm not going to get into, but it's definitely related to him, and it was back then. Bodog weren't the first. They weren't specifically hit by UEGA.
Party poker? Or
what? Again, I'm asking you. Tell me about your memories.
Well, I mean, I wasn't at the time. I didn't have a poker client. I had 888 as one, Euro Partners I had a sponsorship with, but I wasn't directly associated with any, even from an affiliate standpoint, because I was already out because we knew it was coming.
Sorry, Gary, let me just stop you there. You said three things. I just want to clarify to make sure I understand correctly. 888 were a client, Euro Partners, which is Playtech. Titan, some of their biggest brands that they've got, but they've got various others as well. And Party, you said, were a client as well. Is that correct?
No, not Party. Party,
sorry, Bodog.
Yeah.
So Bodog, 888, and Playtech.
Those were just what I thought to be the first standouts for me, in that their target market was the U.S. and the U.S. was
okay. So the next thing was, you said you got forewarned of the legislation. Is that correct? Because I wasn't, and I was deep involved in the community and the industry at that time, very deeply.
Well, it had been going on. There had been talk about it for quite some time.
Okay.
They were just deciding whether it was going to be at a state level or it was going to be on a federal level.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that either, Gary. And I apologise for us having a bit of banter here. And that's, this isn't new news for
But
Gary and I to disagree. The discussion about state or federal level was long after UEGA and whether the decisions whether to legalise would be at a state or federal level. At the time, it was just the only legislation prior to UEGA was related to the Telegraph Act, I think it was called, and I may be wrong on that. Very similar piece of legislation to stop things. Do you remember the old film The Sting? It's
Yeah.
to stop stuff related to that, gambling, because that was how old-fashioned the legislation was. And UEGA came in 2006, and that was the first new piece of legislation. And then soon after, 2008, Obama won election. We believed, and the industry as a whole believed, that there'd be some federal level regulation put in saying gambling will be allowed, but it will be regulated at a federal level and tax will be paid. But that, as we now know with the benefit of hindsight and history behind us, didn't happen. It's a small state by state piece that happened. But what really grabbed me there was when you said that you've been forewarned. Say I wasn't and I didn't know. However, I do appreciate what you said after, which was we all knew there was a risk factor. And so many organisations, including the one that I was working for heavily and deeply involved with at the time, had prepared.
Well, there was a lot of talk on several of the forums I was in particular the Warrior Forum, which is goes way, way back, and it's still real strong today for affiliates. But there was a lot of chatter and banter about it. And, for me, I really had nothing to lose. And I knew from talking with a couple of SEO companies that were or a marketing company that were looking to hire in-house SEOs, that there was a serious need for it and definitely going to pay the money for it. So, I think it was bilateral. It wasn't just that we expected that this was coming, and I just got lucky and timed it right.
And you ended up working with Sticky Eyes in Leeds, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do at Sticky Eyes, Gary?
Head of SEO.
And tell me what that meant on a day-to-day basis.
Well, with them, they only had 8 people when we started, and they were mainly offline and that type of media. They weren't doing a whole lot of online things, and they didn't have any gaming companies at all. When I started there, we picked up a couple big insurance companies and a law firm there, and I mentioned the gaming industry and said, we need to hit these conferences. This is where the business at. And after a lot of coaching, I started my little conference tour, which lasted for, it was for with them, it was about 2 years. Yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. It was 2-3 conferences a month, but and now they're huge. I mean, they specialize in gaming. We parted ways after 2 years. I went to Blue Claw. Leeds also did the exact same thing with them. They were in the exact same situation. It was almost carbon copy.
So let's dive over to Blue Claw. Blue Claw was, and I apologise if I get this wrong, but it's led by a guy called Fergus. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and Blue Claw was a new agency at that time. Tell me about that start-up environment of a new agency, you going in to work with the founder and managing director there, the CEO. What happened?
Well, it was perfect for me, ideal situation, because I did exactly the same thing to the T as I did with Sticky Eyes. Even when I walked in, they had the same amount of staff, 8. And by the time I left, I think Sticky Eyes had 50, and now they've got a couple hundred. Same with Blue Claw. They had 8, and they moved up to 30 or 40 before we parted ways. So it was the same situation. It was just rinse and repeat. It was great because we knew it was a success.
And all of those agencies, both Sticky Eyes and Blue Claw, their core focus was on organic search. Is that right? Or
Yes.
Okay. And you were there on the search side. It was all about Google by that point.
Yeah, definitely.
So let me ask you, we're talking 10 years or so now, maybe a bit less. What's changed from then to now with Google specifically? If you were in that same position, you got the phone call and the money was right, of course, from a new Sticky Eyes or a new Blue Claw. If you were, well, look, you got 100 people, you're not going to do it. But if that were to be in that occasion and it was the right deal for you at the right time and the right opportunity, how would you lead to create and deliver those rankings in Google for these new gaming clients that you're going to win in these new agency?
Wow, that's a pretty broad question, but I think if we started from with nothing, uh, well, from an agency standpoint, let's say they had a gaming client. Again, is it a new client, a new casino? Is it established? Do they have something we can work with?
Gary,
Um,
here's a load of money. I'm dropping it all in front of you. Millions of pounds. Make me fucking rank. That's the bottom line. What are you going to do?
I'm probably going to use old hat strategy. I'm gonna target affiliates because they're always going to generate 40% of the business. I'm going to do massive PPC. I'm going to do massive social media, in particular video.
Okay, but Gary, I apologise for this, right? A little bit, not much. I asked about Google. I asked about SEO. Ignore affiliates. Ignore the social. We've covered those points. Let's talk about, because you're Gary the scuba guy. You're Gary the SEO. It's Vanguard SEO. It's reputational management software and products out there related to the SEO issues of Google. Let's talk about Google. That's why you're here. You're here to share your wisdom of the web, how to rank on Google, what you do for your clients. You're not here just to pimp your products, but I think the pimping's good, valid, and totally appropriate. But you're here to share that experience you've gained from nearly 20 years in the industry, Gary. So tell us, what would you do now when all that money gets dropped in front of you? Gold bars of opportunity. Make me rank.
Well, the first thing I'd do is I'd sit you down and manage your expectations and tell you I ain't Harry Potter and there's no magic wand. Uh, and it's going to take every bit of that money and especially time to get to where you're going to be competitive with the guys that have been out there for 20 years ranking in the top 10. Second thing I'm going to do is we're going to start looking at long tail and low hanging fruit to get income generated and to use those to target your more Hollywood and your primary terms. Then we're just going to build. Do whether it be social media, whether it be backlinks, whether it be content,
Okay.
ebooks, video. These are all new techniques that are coming out, and because Google changes so often, you don't really know exactly specifically what works. And especially if you're targeting Hollywood terms in a competitive market, I'm going to manage your expectations and say, listen, you need to get a grip. You're not going to be number one for poker. If I can get you there in 2 to 3 years, we're doing great.
And okay, that's a very fair point to all of those that you said, and I thank you for that. My expectations are now managed. I appreciate, I'm not going to rank for poker and casino overnight. But I do know, because I'm not the average person, I have worked in a space a little while, I'm of the view that links are important. And I think you'd probably agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, they always have been. It's crazy because they keep saying they don't, but I keep testing it and bullshit. I don't care if it's positive or negative SEO, they work.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's get into the darker areas. If we want to use links for positive, how do we get them? What's the best way to get them nowadays? Want to use them for negative? Let's get really dark. Tell me about that too. Give me some golden nuggets I can take away that the audience can comment on as we're listening and watching and go, shit, Gary, that's fucking amazing. I want to hear it, Gary. Tell me.
Well, we won't get into, let's say,
Yes, we will.
WordPress plugins and hacks and that sort of thing.
Okay, no, we'll leave the legalities. The illegal stuff we're going to leave. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you to talk about it. I'm not going to comment, though.
Okay, well, here's one that works very well, especially when you're in brand protection, reputation management. So I'll use a couple different tools to look at my targets' backlinks. And then usually every 7 to 10 days, I'm going to look at what links they've lost for whatever reason. The site dropped the link, the site closed down, whatever they lost. There's lost links out there.
Sure.
I'm going to go over, and you can pull those from link research tools from several different sources.
Yeah.
Then I take those lost links and I send them out to Majestic let Google know to go out there and crawl those links and see that they're gone now and they should devalue whatever link juice they were giving to that particular site. Does it work all the time? No. Does it work some of the time? Yes. In fact, it works on pretty big sites like, say, SiteJabber, Trustpilot, for 1 or 2 positions, especially, let's say they're at position 9 or 10. I want to get them off the front page for my client's term. Well, I'm going to do lost links, hell, every 3 to 4 days,
Okay.
because a site like that loses a lot. And all I'm doing is I'm just letting Google know.
Okay, so how do you let Google know? You specifically said, and this is something that I don't think I quite understood what you meant, or you got it wrong, one or the other. You said that you'll take the data from link research tools and you'll throw it into Majestic, and that lets Google know that the links are gone. I don't get what you mean there.
Well, it's their link submitter, but you can also do Pingdom tool, or there's several tools out there.
Okay, so we're not throwing them into Majestic. You're throwing them into a tool that will ping these links to the Google search engine. They'll go recrawl it and see that the link has been lost. Is that right?
Yeah, but it is Majestic that I put it through.
Okay, so explain more. Because how can Majestic, as a link search engine, a database of the links to the web, they don't feed their data to Google? Or are you telling me differently?
Yeah, it's under their tools. It's a link map tools, and it's called the URL submitter. Basically, just submits them through Google on a bulk basis, and you could do 10 or 10,000 or however many you want to do. They'll give you 100 a day for free.
So Majestic's URL link submitter, in your opinion, and let me make it clear I don't share that opinion, submits these links to Google and lets them know about changes.
Yes. So, well, I mean, it submits it to them for a crawl, and they crawl it.
So it submits it to Google.
Yeah, because what we're going to report to them are the exact links and the pages that they were on. So that when they go out there and crawl those, they're going to see that those links are no longer there.
Okay, Gary, you and I are in strong disagreement here, but that's fine. Because the thing about SEO is you can ask 100 SEOs one question and you'll get 1,000 answers, and arguably all of them will be correct. So you and I having a difference of opinion isn't a problem. I believe I'm right. You believe you're right. Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, you know me, James. I don't get into jargon and rhetorical bullshit, and I don't stalk the forums and repurpose stuff. And everything that I do, I test 100% myself. And obviously, there's some things I can't exactly put my finger on and say, yeah, that's it. That's what works. That what doesn't work. What I can say is when I've done these things over and over for years, and I've tested them and I've put them into place, they've worked. So, take it for what it's worth.
So what we're going to do now is we got a little bit heated because we've had some disagreement. That's fine. We're going to cut for 5 minutes. We're going to go to another ad break. Then we're going to come back and wind up. So bear with us for a moment, everyone, as the ads come up. This is Fred. He's a busy SEO. But Fred hates link building. And outsourcing it is too expensive, low quality, and time consuming. Fred needs an answer, a scalable link solution. The domain name has just the thing. Fred wants powerful domains, scalability, great prices, speed of action, and huge data. Whether 10, 1,000 or 1 million sites, you choose your domains. Add them, and then in 24 hours or less, your network is complete. It's that simple. Exclude the bad words, include the good, and just search. Then click. Through an easy interface that's quick to use. With vast data. It's a network in a flash. It's the fastest link building program available. It's truly international and the final cog in your SEO machine. Saving you money, building your profit, and launching your business to the moon. It's a thumbs up from Fred. Come sign up now with a special offer with a free trial. And we're back. Gary and I have just been exchanging a couple of messages, and Gary's IT guy doesn't like me, but that's okay. Hi, Gary's IT guy. I think you're a good man personally. We had a slight disagreement beforehand, and we got different opinion, and that's fine, because if we all agreed, the world would be a boring place. And truth is, there's more than one SEO company in the world. If we all agreed and did it the same way, we'd all be number one at once, and that's not the reality. reality. There's reasons, there's difference of opinion, there's reasons for different ways of going there. However, I did rank #1 around the world for poker, online poker, casino, online casino, bingo, online bingo, and all the variants and all the languages thereof. That's all I'm going to say, Gary, and to the IT guy. Anyway, look, let's get back down to it. Look, we're in the last few minutes now. Gary, I want you to sell yourself to the audience, and this is the really tricky thing, right? But I want you to do this. I want you to give one huge motherfucker nugget of gold to the audience, the viewers and the listeners. And I want it to be something actionable they can take away to help their organic SEO efforts, whether it's affiliate marketing, whether an operator, whether it's in gaming, gambling, cats, dogs, I don't care. But I want some golden nugget of info. And I also want it to be so amazing that on Monday morning, they're in Malta, sunny Malta as it's grey outside here in England. I'm not jealous, no, not at all. Yeah, I am. I want your phone to be ringing with these new people who are going, shit, Gary's the guy. Gary's the guy I want to do the work on. So, Gary, what's that nugget of info? How are we going to make that phone of yours ring?
Something actionable that somebody could go out without 100 million and do tomorrow.
I don't care how dark it is. You can get as black hat as you want.
It's going to be dark.
That's fine. Go for it.
All right. I'm not going to give the exact process, but anybody on this conference call is going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, Gary, let me stop you for a moment. But I may push you. So you say you're not going to give the exact process. Be warned. You know who I am. You know what I'm like. I'm not here to give you an easy ride. I'm here to give loads of value to the viewers and to get your phone ringing Monday morning. So if you don't give it away and you don't break it down to specifics, I will push you. Now, I'm going to shut up now and let you carry on.
Okay. First off, I ain't taking no more clients. So we'll take that out of the equation. Okay. But what I will do is give you an excellent piece of advice that we use it for reputation management. We also use it for SEO. If you can't get to the top of the rankings in the time or the budget that you want, then the best thing to do is to target the guys that are already there. How do you do that? Negative SEO. What's negative SEO? Backlinks. So there's several things you can do, but I'll give you my best technique. And this is to go to Fiverr for one of those cheap-ass sites. Go to these guys that have the link wheels and throw $5 at him and see what he comes back with. 10,000, 20,000 links. Go into those links, run them through link research tools, look at the ones that are not only de-indexed, not only the ones that are de-indexed from Google, but also the ones that just have a negative rank. They're just absolute shit sites. I don't think I need to fill in the blanks from here.
Fill in the blanks, Gary. Do it.
All right, go back to the same guy and say, hey, listen, I want the same deal, but, I want these sites. These are where I want the links for. Then you repeat that process because there's about 1,000 guys out there doing this on Fiverr. Black Hat World is another good resource for these guys they actually have these Filipino, hundreds of people set up doing SEO campaigns one after the other for next to nothing. So if you can't do it, you're not going to be able to target poker and hit it, obviously, without a lot of money and time. So the alternative, what I would recommend, especially to an affiliate with a fixed budget, is spend your time wisely. Knock the guys out that can help push you guys up.
Okay, so Gary, let me play it back to you. I'm going to rephrase it to make sure I understand correctly and hopefully clarify for the audience. Let's presume that you've got a site and it's ranking at position 100. Round numbers, no other reason than picking that number. Go to the 99 sites above you, grab their URL, go to Fiverr and find the shittiest link packages you can find and give them those URLs to promote and to pump their crappiest links in. You believe that if that's done, this is what you're saying, that they'll drop in rankings, and rather than you climbing, they'll drop, and as a consequence, you'll rise. Is that a fair summary?
Yes, but we take it a step further in that we run our own SE Nuke and our own scrape box and our own custom blueprints. Because SE Nuke, you can build your campaigns. You can go with somebody else's cookie cutter campaign or whatever you call them, default campaigns that they give you. So we'll do the research and pay these guys $5 to get their list of sites or press release sites, or we'll get the information from them for nothing and we'll turn around and we'll use that information, and it saves us. Gosh, I mean, it cuts probably 70% off of our time because we have all the sites that we need, whether it be for negative SEO, de-indexed websites. We have a database just full of these, and they just keep coming out with more and more. We just keep building our database. So we'll take our database and we'll actually implement the campaigns versus paying them to do it. We pay them to get that information.
Okay, look, Gary, thank you. You delivered. You gave something that's actionable. I'm not sure, I'm not sure I agree completely. But you know what? I asked, you delivered, and that's all I can ask for. Gary, it's been an absolute pleasure. Before we go, Gary, because we're coming up to the hour now, I'd just like to give a few of your URLs out again so everyone can hear and hopefully get that second chance of writing it down and potentially visiting your products. There were a few. What's the URL for Vanguard?
It's vanguardonlinemedia.com.
Okay. What's your reputation management tool? What's the URL for that?
Webgenius.tech.
And are there any others that I've forgotten?
Yeah, we have reviewpool.co.uk that targets, like TripAdvisor, SiteJabber, Trustpilot, those kind of guys that you can't get out of the top 10. And we also have, the last one is Ironstone Consultants, which is the hardcore team. So they do the hardcore stuff.
Okay, Gary. Look, everyone has been listening. I want you to virtually put your hands together for Gary. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. It's been quite a number of years since we spoke and were on a panel together. But Gary, thank you for your time. And everyone who's tuned in, I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Cheers.